Someone is completely taken over by thoughts of you. But right now, the two of you cannot be together. Your inner feeling already knows this is real. Even when your mind tries to push it away, take a slow breath and pay attention. Because what you are about to hear is not random and not something your imagination created. The person who just came into your thoughts did not appear there by accident. There is a strong, quiet bond between you two, one that neither of you can fully explain or simply walk away from. It is not a passing idea. It is something deep, steady, and hard to ignore. They feel pulled toward you in a way that is powerful yet carefully controlled, a feeling they have never truly allowed themselves to experience before. Still, something keeps you apart. Something makes this connection feel restricted or not fully allowed. And understanding why this is happening will change how you see every thought, every feeling, and every shared moment. Even with distance between you, someone out there is deeply consumed by you. But this connection is not something that is currently allowed to fully unfold. This situation reveals two important truths you need to understand clearly. Take a slow breath before you continue, because this message did not come to you by accident. If this silent, emotional message resonates with you, support this space so others can also find it. You did not come across this randomly. The person appearing in your thoughts has meaning in your life, or is someone who keeps returning to your mind without invitation. The bond between you is not temporary. It is not light or short-lived. It is deep, steady, and always present in the background. They are drawn to you, but not in a loud or obvious way. It is controlled, quiet, and deeply held back, something they have never allowed themselves to fully feel before. Yet the connection feels restricted, not because love is missing, but because something in real life is blocking the path forward. This restriction reveals two deeper realities. These realities explain why the bond feels so strong, why distance exists, and why neither of you can fully move forward or fully let go. When a connection feels limited, it does not mean it is weak. In fact, it often means the opposite. Restricted bonds are rarely surface level. They do not form from boredom or emptiness. They do not come from simple attraction alone. They come from deep recognition between hearts and minds. This person did not choose these feelings instantly. It began slowly, and then became undeniable. At first, you were just someone they noticed, then someone they respected, then someone they trusted. And slowly, without realizing it, you became someone they cannot stop thinking about. What makes this connection restricted is not the absence of feeling, but the presence of circumstances, timing, responsibility, fear, and inner boundaries. This is where the first truth appears. This person is fighting an inner conflict every day because of you. They are not fighting you. They are fighting their own emotions. They wake up thinking about you and immediately remind themselves why they should not. They replay conversations in their mind and then judge themselves for enjoying them. They imagine closeness and then push those thoughts away because wanting you feels complicated and risky. Not risky emotionally alone, but risky for the life they have built, the duties they carry, or the values they have followed for years. For some, it may involve another relationship. For others, it may involve family expectations, culture, responsibilities, or moral limits they were taught never to cross. Sometimes one or both of you are simply not fully free, making everything more complex. Instead of acting, they hold back. Instead of speaking, they stay silent. Instead of coming closer, they watch from a distance. And silence does not always mean absence of feeling. Often it means feelings are too strong to control. This person is not emotionally calm when it comes to you. Their emotions are strong but hidden. They do not express them because speaking might open something they are afraid they cannot close again. They do not act because action would force them to face consequences they are not ready for. They do not come closer because closeness would reveal emotions they have even hidden from themselves. Carl Jung once suggested that what we resist tends to grow stronger. And that is exactly what happens here. Every time they try to suppress the feeling, it becomes deeper. Every time they pull away, the bond strengthens underneath. Feelings that are denied do not disappear. They grow in silence. This explains the strange energy you sometimes feel. It explains why thoughts of them appear suddenly without effort. It explains why your emotions shift without clear reason. You may feel their presence even in quiet moments, as if something unseen is passing between you. Carl Jung also said that what is not made conscious will appear as fate. And much of this connection remains unspoken and unresolved, which is why it continues to move beneath the surface, creating emotional tension and inner conflict. This person carries you in their private thoughts while appearing calm to the outside world. They may seem stable, but inside there is a constant pull between wanting and holding back. Not because you matter little, but because you matter deeply, and that intensity creates fear. They fear disruption, consequences, or losing control of their current life. If you have ever felt a silent emotional pull like this, you know how exhausting it can be. It is why distance does not bring peace. It is why the connection feels heavy, yet unbroken. Jung also compared human connection to a chemical reaction. When two people truly connect, both are changed forever, and you have already been changed. Something in you shifted the moment this person entered your emotional space. This is not imagination, it is transformation. Time does not erase this kind of bond, because it is not held together by routine, it is held together by meaning. And where meaning is strong, distance cannot fully dissolve it. In this connection, control is not the driving force. That is why it feels confusing. There are no games here, there is no manipulation. Only two people, affected by something deeper than they expected, something they do not fully understand. As this realization grows, one truth becomes clearer. You are not just a temporary thought in their life. You are not replaceable. You are part of a deeper emotional shift already unfolding in both of you. Even when life is busy, this person returns to your thoughts without effort. And the same happens for them. They may seem focused on daily life, work, or responsibilities, but the mind always returns to what remains unresolved. They remember how naturally you made them feel understood. They remember how easy it was to simply be themselves around you. That sense of familiarity creates something that cannot easily be erased. And this is why the connection feels unfinished. Many misunderstand this kind of bond. They assume distance means lack of feeling, but often distance appears because feelings are too strong to manage. This person knows that moving closer may change everything permanently, and they are not ready to let go of the life they built, even if it no longer fully matches who they are becoming. So they choose control over openness. They choose familiarity over emotional truth. But every suppressed feeling does not disappear. It transforms into restlessness, confusion, and emotional distance in other areas of life. They may start questioning things they once felt secure about, without ever naming the real source. You become a silent reference point in their mind, representing emotional honesty they have not yet allowed themselves to live. This is why the connection feels unfinished. It is not only about missing someone, it is about transformation happening in two lives at the same time. You may notice changes in yourself too. Your expectations in relationships may have shifted quietly. What you accept now feels different. What you want has become clearer. What once felt acceptable may now feel empty. You may find less patience for shallow connections or half-present emotions. This awareness did not appear randomly. It came from recognition. This connection is not only about desire, it is about awakening. Some relationships are meant to build a future. Others are meant to awaken inner truth. This one belongs to the second category. You met this person at a moment when something inside you was ready to change. And they met you when they were quietly questioning their own life direction, even if unspoken. That is why the pull feels so strong and so confusing at the same time. You act as mirrors for each other. You reflect what was hidden. You reveal what was waiting to emerge. This kind of bond does not follow normal timing. It works slowly, shaping your values and understanding of what truly matters. If you are still here, you are among those who feel things deeply. Many turn away from messages like this, not because they feel nothing, but because it touches something real inside them. This connection does not behave like ordinary attraction. It does not fade easily with distance. It does not disappear with logic. Instead, it continues quietly, like a shadow created by emotional impact. Even when you are busy, thoughts of this person return without effort. And the same happens on their side. They may seem unaffected, but internally the mind keeps returning to unfinished emotional experiences. They remember how seen they felt with you. They remember the comfort of being themselves. That memory cannot be erased once it has truly formed. This is where misunderstanding often happens. Distance is not always caused by lack of feeling. Sometimes it is caused by feelings too strong to handle. This person knows that if they move closer, something permanent may begin, something that could change everything. And they are not ready to break the structure of their current life, even if they feel something deeper emerging inside them. But there is always a cost to suppression. What is not expressed becomes restlessness. It becomes emotional confusion. It becomes a quiet sense that something important is missing. They may never say your name out loud, but you remain present as an inner measure of emotional truth. This is why the bond feels unfinished. It is not just about separation. It is about transformation still unfolding. And even now, this connection continues to shape both of you in ways that are not fully visible yet. A truth that has been truly felt cannot be forgotten or simply thrown away. You are not just holding on to a person. You are holding on to an experience of emotional clarity that has changed you in a deep and lasting way. And they are moving through a very similar inner process as well. This does not mean you should wait endlessly. It does not mean you should stop living your life. It does not mean you should abandon your present for a possible future that is uncertain. It means you need to fully understand what this connection is trying to teach you. It is showing you how deeply your heart is able to feel. It is showing you the kind of bond that gives energy instead of constantly taking it away. It is reminding you that real emotion goes far beyond what is easy or without risk. And in its own way, it is doing the same thing for them, whether they openly admit it or not. What comes next cannot be forced or created by effort alone. It cannot be rushed just by wanting it strongly. It cannot be changed by silence or by chasing. This kind of bond only opens fully when honesty becomes stronger than fear. Until that point is reached, it stays in between, not fully gone, but not fully here either. It remains alive in thoughts, alive in emotions, and alive in those quiet moments where truth is felt softly instead of loudly. As time continues to move forward, the tension between who they have been and who they are becoming will keep increasing. The same is happening within you too. Eventually, something inside must shift because a mind that has truly awakened cannot return to its old sleep. And when that change happens, it will not come just from desire. It will come from true readiness. Readiness does not arrive through dramatic signs or loud decisions. It comes quietly, through built-up discomfort and the slow realization that something inside no longer fits the life being lived. For them, this often begins as a subtle inner break. They start to notice that the roles they play feel heavier than before. Responsibilities they once accepted easily begin to feel like limits. Their usual emotional patterns start to feel empty, even when everything looks fine on the outside. You are not the cause of that break. You are the light that revealed what was already there. You did not make their life unstable. You simply illuminated the parts that were already misaligned. That is exactly why this connection feels intense and risky to them. Not because it threatens their physical safety or daily stability, but because it challenges the carefully built image of the life they created. Comfortable lives are often built on quiet illusions. Truth requires responsibility. Truth demands courage. Truth asks a person to face what they feel and decide whether they are willing to live in alignment with it. Many people are not ready for that kind of decision when the feeling first appears. So they delay. They create reasons to postpone. They tell themselves it is only temporary. They convince themselves it is just imagination. They believe it will fade if they ignore it long enough. But deep connections do not disappear when ignored. Instead, they become pressure. A pressure that builds silently until it can no longer be contained. This is why you may experience waves of closeness followed by sudden distance. Moments where they feel emotionally present and then suddenly pull away. Times when you sense a strong connection without any words being spoken. This back and forth is not confusion about you. It is an internal struggle within them. They are standing between who they have always been and who they are slowly becoming. And you represent that turning point in their life. The place where change has already started. Something similar is also happening inside you. You are developing a stronger ability to see with clarity. You are learning to recognize the difference between intense emotion and true alignment. You are beginning to understand the difference between surface attraction and a deeper connection that actually resonates at a soul level. This connection did not come to trap your life or limit you. It came to bring clarity and awareness into your inner world. You may notice that surface-level attention no longer excites you the way it once did. You may feel less dependent on approval from others to feel valuable. You are learning that shrinking yourself to fit into someone else's limits is no longer acceptable. This is not coincidence. It is growth already in motion. This bond is teaching you self-respect in a quiet but powerful way. It is showing you what emotional alignment feels like, even if the connection is not yet complete. Once you have experienced being truly seen at that level, you cannot simply ignore it or pretend it does not matter. That is why this connection feels so unique. Unique does not mean perfect. It does not mean easy. It does not guarantee a certain outcome. But it does mean it carries meaning no matter what happens next. Whether this relationship becomes something lasting or remains unfinished, it has already completed an important part of its purpose. It has strengthened your emotional awareness and sharpened your inner perception. It has made you more conscious of what you truly need in love, and it has done something similar for the other person as well. That is why neither of you can simply erase it and move on without impact. You may wonder why the timing feels so difficult, why this connection appeared when it could not fully take form. But timing is rarely a punishment. More often, it is preparation. Sometimes, two people enter each other's lives not to immediately be together, but to grow separately first. Without that inner growth, even strong connections can collapse under old fears, unhealed wounds, and repeated emotional patterns. Right now, both of you are being guided towards something deeper than just desire. You are being asked to face the truth within yourselves. For them, the question is whether they can live honestly, even when honesty brings consequences. For you, the question is whether you can continue to respect your own value, even when waiting feels difficult. This is why patience matters here. Not patience based on hoping for a specific outcome, but patience grounded in trust in your own growth and awareness. You are not meant to stop living your life or remain stuck in waiting. You are meant to continue moving forward, growing consciously, and choosing with awareness. If this connection is meant to become something real in a shared form, it will only happen when both of you can meet without fear, without hiding, and without half-efforts that protect pride instead of truth. And if it does not become a shared path, its impact will still remain, because it has already changed your inner direction in ways you are only beginning to understand. That is not a loss. that is the beginning of something new. Many people go through life without ever experiencing a connection that truly awakens them. They stay in relationships that feel safe but emotionally empty. They choose comfort over truth because truth feels uncomfortable. You did not choose that path. You encountered something real enough to challenge your deepest patterns, to bring your hidden fears into awareness, and to push you toward growth. That alone makes this connection different from anything you have known before. As time continues, clarity will come. Not through forcing answers and not through waiting alone, but through living honestly and acting with integrity. People either grow toward what they truly feel or return to what is familiar and easier. Both paths eventually reveal the truth. Until that clarity fully arrives, trust what this connection has already given you. It has given you awareness. And once awareness awakens, nothing remains exactly the same again. As this awareness deepens, you stop trying to place everything into fixed explanations. You stop over-analyzing every pause and silence. Instead, you begin to listen to what is being awakened inside you. This is where your strength returns. The hardest part of complex emotional connections is not the absence itself, but losing yourself in trying to solve it. And you are no longer doing that. You are noticing how calm you feel when you prioritize yourself, how clear things become when you stop searching for constant signs, how much steadier you feel when you release the need to interpret every moment. That shift is more important than it may appear. What once pulled you into confusion is now teaching you something lasting. It is teaching you how to remain yourself. Share this with someone who needs to understand this silent kind of love. Real connection does not ask you to lose yourself. Real love does not require confusion as proof. Deep emotion does not demand suffering as evidence. This understanding will stay with you and shape you whether or not the connection continues in the way you once expected. On their side, the inner pressure continues to grow. While you are beginning to absorb this lesson and integrate it into your life, they are still facing their own internal struggle. They are becoming more aware of the difference between the version of themselves that follows expectations and the version that feels honest when thoughts of you appear. That difference cannot remain unresolved forever. People can avoid conversations, they can delay decisions, they can ignore direct emotional truth for a time, but they cannot avoid themselves indefinitely. Eventually, inner pressure surfaces in quiet moments when there is no distraction left. Before this ends, take a moment of stillness and reflect on the number 444. In ideas of inner alignment and symbolic meaning, 444 represents the building of strong foundations beneath uncertainty. It often appears when stability is forming beneath the surface, even if things still feel unclear.